Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin still lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back once again here with PSGL for the Imola Grand Prix. San Marino, as it's formerly called, back in the heyday of watching Michael Schumacher take his fantastic record-breaking amount of wins, which I do believe is 7, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe it's the same amount of world titles as he's won. Yeah, I'm super excited for this. It's the home of Ferrari. As a passionate Ferrari fan myself, I'm really looking forward to see what the Ferrari drivers of Sanga and Adam can do today. But Alex, what are you wearing, mate? We said to wear Ferrari, and why are you're out here in a Red Bull shirt?
Well, the email I got said wear the fan favourites.
No.
And I thought that, you know, because Red Bull are the fan favourites, I'll put on. Like, I was curious why you came in. I thought you were in a Ferrari thing. I thought that's a bit odd, but I guess it kind of makes sense now because we are in Italy. I got some weird looks earlier. People were not happy with what I was wearing.
I'm not happy with what you're wearing. I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a weird look because Imola, home of Ferrari. Maybe you're a bit confused. Probably you definitely thought Zandvoort was going on. That's for the real life counterpart at the minute.
They're pretty close.
Not that it'll matter because Leclerc's going to win this weekend.
Is he? Is that
yes.
Lock that in?
Yeah, lock it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, got $6,000 on it. It's gonna happen.
$6 deal. Shake your hand.
I would, but my hands are broken at the minute.
Fair enough.
A little bit wobbly, but while we're on the topic of Ferrari, I do think we have to mention about one of the unfortunate instances about last race at Suzuka. So if we cast our minds back and we think about that last lap battle we saw for the lead.
Yes.
With Daniel getting squeezed off a little bit going into the Casio triangle. Sanger, according to the stewards, deserved a 5-second penalty for that and a couple
quite
license
harsh.
points.
It's
It's a little bit harsh, but we're not stewards for a reason. That's what we've got to think.
Yeah.
So Ferrari didn't win last week, but I've sent Sanger a little message saying, "Hey, it's Imola. I'm expecting a Ferrari win." And he came back with something which I wasn't expecting, saying him and Adam don't feel comfortable around this track.
Well, that's not exactly what they said, was it, Josh?
No, they said they had no pace. But
Yes.
by saying they
But-
have no pace, if that means they just don't want me to say it on stream and then come and blitz in qualifying,
Well,
I'm more than welcome
maybe
for
it's a tactic.
it. It could
maybe
be
it's
a
a
tactic.
tactic.
Underestimate
lot-
yourself.
Yeah, because a lot of people always come into a weekend and say, you know, we look like we're not. Remember Mercedes FP1 every
yes.
weekend. You know, they always 16th, 14th. Lewis comes in after, you know, we don't have the pace to compete with these guys. They're 8 tenths fast, and then qualify, he puts it on pole.
Exactly. A little maybe Ferrari's doing a little bit of sandbagging. Me and my little copia mask are
Yes, exactly.
are
That's,
out here. But no,
does it come with a Ferrari fan? The Copian mask. Like when you become one, does it just turn up at your door and you have it there?
it came by Royal Mail, but it
Ah.
didn't have a return address.
They never do. You can't leave. This is why I'm supporting the crowd favorite. I'm getting booed. I can hear boos. It's,
I can. You suck.
Oh,
Who said that?
It's cutting. It really is. It's cutting.
It's definitely cutting. It's it's not great. Daniel, hello. I can see you popping in chat there. Fingers crossed you're ready for today and ready for a little bit of racing, because I do believe we've almost got a full lobby going here.
I think it is. I think it's almost full.
It's
pretty
almost
much.
full. It's getting close. It's getting. Hello, Malcolm. I can see you in the chat there as well. Hopefully you're excited for a Ferrari 1-2 here, representing the boys in red. Yeah.
I am wearing a red T-shirt. I would
No,
like. You
does
can't.
not count. Go away.
You can't see it. It's black on the camera, but it is. Wait, it's burgundy.
Dustin and Sparky. If we interview them, I'm making one of them a Ferrari fan. Let's say that much.
Okay.
That if I could just convince them they're a Ferrari driver, that'll work. But I feel like we should stop obsessing about my obsession with Ferrari and start really looking into Imola and some of the great battles around here. Obviously,
Yes.
you got the Fernando Alonso, Michael Schumacher one. Once again,
2
Ferrari.
years in a row.
Yeah.
2 in a row.
Exactly.
2005 and 2006. Where, to be honest, Michael didn't have the machinery to fight Alonso, especially 2005.
That's why.
And the
he's
fact
my goat.
he had that. But 2006 he won, and I believe that was the last Ferrari win around Imola, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Because it was off the calendar from 2006 onwards until it came back at 2020. Is that facts?
I think it was there in 2007 because Lewis raced it. I think
Did Lewis race it?
either that or Lewis definitely raced it in a junior formula, which could have been
Yeah.
2006 very much.
And I think then it came back 2020, which was won by Lewis, and then
Yeah.
21 was won by Max,
22
and then 2 was won by Max, and 23 didn't happen this year
but it
because
would
of
have
the flooding.
been won by Leclerc or Sainz.
Yes.
It'd be one of them. It would have if this year
Yeah.
it would have surely.
Did Leclerc finish on the podium in Imola?
No,
Was he going to in 2022?
no,
What happened? Did he
Land-
spin at the chicane?
maybe. But no, Lando Norris got third, and he deserved
Yes.
that because he put that car in a place it definitely shouldn't have been for that.
Oh,
time.
it was awful that car, wasn't it? That year,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
dreadful.
Yep.
Daniel was like 15th or something.
Yeah, and no, Daniel's back in F1 now, so we'll be able to really see him crack on with it. But it does remind me of the crash Gerhard Berger suffered going into the Tamarella
Yeah.
chicane. Big fireball incident. Thankfully, no fireballs in this game.
No.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
as
crossed.
I see a wild Zoltan appear in the chat. Hello there, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully
It's historically a dangerous track, this.
it is. I mean, it goes without saying the accidents we've had here throughout the years.
Yeah.
It's one of those. They've done the best to make it safer, and I feel like the modern machinery is now actually prepared for the circuit, which is definitely a step in the positive direction for a historical track like Imola.
Yeah.
I really hope we see tracks like Spa. Zandvoort's already done it. Monza doesn't necessarily need it, but hopefully we get to start seeing a lot more of these historical tracks really start adapting, similar to what Imola, Zandvoort have done, where they make it a little bit more wider make it a little slower in certain places, because otherwise the cars just
I think
absolutely go sailing.
there's certain things like there needs to be, you know, the barriers, the Tech Pro barrier, the metal ones that obviously Grosjean crashed in at Bahrain. I think a lot of those need to be phased out and put into like tire barriers or Tech Pro barriers or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yellow sausage curbs on a lot of these older circuits just need to be gone, because they've done more damage recently than any other thing in Formula One. Like
Yeah.
it's really bad. Remember the one in, what was it, the one in USA for the W Series?
Yes.
And the one, obviously, we know the one that happened in Italy in 2021, where basically Max jumped on top of Lewis's car.
Not only that as well. Coming out of Parabolica,
Oh
you
yeah,
had the F3 car of the Barbados driver
Alexander
Maloney.
Perosi was,
Maloney.
but yeah, Maloney, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a horrendous accident.
No, that was
The fact he
terrifying.
walked away from that crash is quite incredible, personally.
Yeah.
But I think it proves how much safer modern machinery is nowadays. And I think, was it? Yeah, obviously we'll get back to Imola in a second. But speaking of that, is in Italy, that was when Leclerc had that massive crash in 2020, was it? And like he went into the tire barriers at like quite some speed.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing it up for a joke, but I'm just saying, like, for safety reasons, that was quite big.
Yeah. It's quite a big hit on my heart there as well.
Yeah, Gasly won that race.
Don't need to remind me. I'm aware. But it was an Italian car, so we can absolutely take that.
And Lance Stroll finished third.
Yeah, the GOAT.
Which is, I thought he was going to win that race. I actually almost kicked my PC in anger for Lance Stroll to win a Grand Prix. It couldn't happen.
I do feel like, though, we do need to address everything going on with Lance Stroll at the minute. He's come to Zandvoort with an infection.
Yeah.
He's
of too much pace.
Yeah, exactly. He's gone too quick. He got an infection.
No, it's just
he's got a big plaster slapped on the side of his jaw. Bless him.
Really?
Really.
Oh
apparently
God.
He is clear to drive for tomorrow, but
yeah.
You
they got a new floor as well, Aston Martin.
Yeah, Mercedes have also bought upgrades, saying they're going to bring 8 tenths of pace, which would put them
in an interview that hasn't been shown by anyone. But yes, no, that's true. The source
sources
says,
trust me, bro.
Yeah, source trust me, bro. That's what's been happening at the moment. But no, but back to Imola. Let's talk a bit more about the circuit. So mixed conditions around this circuit
it's known for it, isn't
highly likely. Obviously. This year, we literally didn't go to the circuit because of so much flooding.
Yeah.
Luckily, a lot of that has been solved now, as far as I'm aware, and it was pretty horrendous. So hopefully everyone was fine from that thing.
Yeah.
Good on Formula One for not actually racing there that weekend, because, you know, in the back of the day, they probably would have done it. But not anymore.
I do have a fact. There's only ever been 2 Grand Prix called off after drivers have arrived at the circuit. Do you know what they are?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, is it? I'm guessing one of them's Imola.
Yes. So Imola's 1, and then there's another 2.
There's another 2. Okay, well, I know Saudi wasn't called off, even though it probably should have been.
Yes.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
Bahrain, 2010, when they went there and then they had to leave because of the country, or was that? Did it just get cancelled before?
It got cancelled before.
I
think more recent. Think more recent.
Recent
years.
Recent. Japan, Suzuka?
No. Right sort of area of the world.
Not China.
No.
Malaysia?
No.
Is it near Japan?
Not near, but it's, you know.
Australia.
Yeah. What year?
2020 is one.
Yes.
There's one more. Is that less recent?
Yes, a lot less recent. Before our time, let's say.
Oh God. I'm gonna take a guess. The 1984.
Oh, it's so close.
85?
Yes, come on.
1985.
He
Brazilian
wins in
Grand Prix.
Oh no.
Monza.
He wins in somewhere.
Spa.
Yes, there we go. Got that. 1985.
I got the year right. That wasn't bad.
They ended up cancelling it due to what I believe was a driver uprising. Let's say they didn't.
Driver uprising.
Yeah, I believe they ended up pulling out the picket boards and having a harsh stance on not wanting to race there. due to the conditions. And
they don't get paid enough. That's the issue.
Yeah, and the Grand Prix got abandoned and rescheduled for later in the year, which is very interesting. But
did it actually happen later in the year? Or?
It did. But that's enough of about us waffling about Imola. I believe it's time for you guys to see a little bit of Imola. And I put together a very slow track guide running you through the circuit. Just be aware, I'm probably in the winning car. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for your round 10 track guide around Imola. As you can see, I've decided to pick with Ferrari here. Definitely no favouritism, but going into Ravazza 17 and 18 here, trying to use all the track limit here. It's absolutely crucial that you hit your apexes and you run the car as wide as possible, but we'll see more of running the car wide a little later on this hot lap. Going down the Variante Massa straight, there's a slight little kink in it, but the DRS is still open, still full throttle. There's no need to worry about it as we come to the Tamarello chicane, where, as you can see, using that curb on the left, but then what you want to do there on the inside, which I didn't, was take that inside curb just a little bit, let the car run out wide naturally, as I show there. Coming down into the Villeneuve chicane, it's a very technical part. Some drivers might want to dab on the brake at the same time just to balance it out going into the first part, but then carry it through. As we arrive at Tosa here, there's a great infamous moment I very much like, but I don't think Alex will, of Michael Schumacher just forgetting that Montoya was on his outside. Coming up to Piratella here, very quick left-hander. We've seen fantastic moves around here throughout the course of the season. I mean, Pierre Gasly's comes to mind as well, absolutely brilliant. As we come into the Aqua Minerale little complex here, it's absolutely brilliant. You've got to brake slightly for turn 11, then apply the brakes heavier for turn 12 as we ride up here. Very technical to get out of there as well without damaging the car or spinning. It might be a bit of a challenge, but I'm sure there'll be no worries for our drivers here in PSGL. As the Variante Alta chicane, you want to try and challenge those curves as much as possible. I mean, we've seen it with drivers recently, like Yuki Tsunoda, who challenged the curves a bit too much, end up, you know, it costs them a lap, it could cost them a qualifying session. But Rovazza, this is what I mean. Completely missed the apex there, but that's void. You don't need to know that, but you want to run as far as possible, but you run too far like I did, and you make one of the wheels slightly touch the gravel, even like on that last corner, but lap time will be invalidated. So it's going to be a very technical circuit, but it's driver's favourite, so it'll be very interesting to see who comes out on top here.
Lap of qualifying.
Speaking about bidding on the opening lap of qualifying, we are back! As Adam does exactly what I told him not to do. And actually took the apex, believe it or not, going through Ravazza. As we're going to be on board with Adam here, watching the Ferrari, the lead car, setting the first flying lap of the day. Which
it just seems right, doesn't it?
It just seems right. I'll tell you what else seems right. Looking at Nico Rosberg's number, Adam's adopted onto this Ferrari. He should have drove for Ferrari. Changed my mind.
Do you know Nico Rosberg is the only driver to beat Lewis Hamilton in equal machinery?
That's a lie. Jenson Button did it. George Russell did it.
No, to the World Championship.
Oh. I mean, Sebastian Vettel did it if you paint the colours slightly off and change a couple parts and also hire Adrian Newey.
He says it every weekend.
Yeah, I mean...
The Sky say it every weekend.
Good. As much as I like Lewis, if you've got a win over him, you should say it. That's why Paul Resta says it so much, and I don't blame him. As Adam invalidates his lap time...
Yeah, he invalidated very early on. This is why I mentioned the Nico Rosberg thing.
It's very unfortunate, isn't it? These track limits are so harsh.
Oh, it's brutal around this circuit. It's not like any other circuit I've driven. Like Imola is a fantastic. I say this every weekend now, but we've had 3 very much driver circuits in a row.
Yes.
And this is another one of those circuits that drivers love to drive around. 1:14.4. I imagine that beats your lap that you did on the track guide, as Tom Lukes, a newcomer, a new challenger approaches, does a 14.2.
Yes.
Validation.
I've had a little run through of the drivers' chat when we was all talking practice wise about who's done what and how likely they feel like they are, what times they're going to be able to do. And a 13.4 was brought up for someone's PB.
13.4. Wow,
but we do have to remember that is perfect conditions. On a time trial where the tyres don't overheat and the tyres go through such undulating forces around this circuit. The corners come so quickly in rapid fire succession that the tyres have very little time to cool themselves down. So I reckon we're going to be looking at probably a 13.6 for a very high push as Lundell pops himself into P1 with a 13.7. We're on board here with Seb. Let's see what he's able to do coming down the straight with a 13.8.
13.8. Yeah, Seb and Lundell have been really impressive in the last couple of races, haven't they? Especially Lundell.
Yes.
I think Lundell really announced himself to everyone in Austria and especially in Japan with the pace they showed off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Lundell's one of those drivers who always seems to end up struggling a little bit in qualifying, but also has tremendous race pace and racecraft to be able to pick himself up, get his way through the field, and it's absolutely wonderful to watch. As we're going to be seeing Oscar King just coming over that crest there, going for the downhill braking zone to Ravazza, and it is so easy to lock up as a brake, as we see a Mercedes running a little wide there out of Ravazza.
I think he's just getting out of the way of drivers.
Yes, I do not blame him.
He's done a Mazepin. He's gone to the gravel there. Oscar King goes only ninth fastest, but once again, times incredibly close here. It's not the longest circuit in the world, but it's got enough corners where you can make up the difference. So I would expect people to improve by a very large amount. Here's the crowd favourite right now on track, Dustin Vincent, in his lovely Red Bull livery car.
Yeah.
I got to say, some of the camera angles in this track are fantastic to watch cars go through here.
Example. There you go, perfectly.
Example,
perfect time
yeah.
chicane. Currently P5 in the championship is Dusting, but he's been on an absolute tear of recent form, getting P2 in the last 3 races. We mentioned last week in the interviews, asking whether he's going to feel confident to be able to try and pip it this week and get a P1. But of course, it's Ferrari's backyard, so we know Ferrari's going to win. But with a lap time like that, Ferrari might start sweating a little bit, and also Lundell might be sweating, coming a little bit, considering that was 2 warm-up laps Dustin had there as well.
Yeah, it's one of those circuits where you can obviously it's a very we're in the comfort of the commentary box, but it's a very cloudy day here at Imola. Obviously we don't know the weather conditions, what it's going to be like. I wish that was a feature in the game. Next time, EA, next time you'll get it right one day. But it would be nice for commentators to see the weather coming down onto track. So I think it just adds a bit more for us. We get a bit more to talk about.
Absolutely. I mean, there's external software we're able to use as Adam's coming in the pits there, which should mean that Sanya is out, and he's already
on an invalidated lap. Yes. Once again, the Ferraris unfortunately not getting those lap times in at the moment. 10 minutes left on the clock though, so there's no need to worry as right now for any Ferrari fans watching. There's quite a few. Obviously, a lot in the crowds there. You can see a lot of Italian and Spanish flags. Obviously, Italy is it's quite a large country. Italy. Has a lot of different cultures in it as well. I'm not going to go through all of them because obviously people will pull me up on it. But it's a very multicultural city and a very old city as well. It's got a lot of history.
Yeah, I think the word you're looking for there is country. But
that's
the
word.
Town of Imola as well is a very, very old town. It has its historic roots going all the way back to being, if I'm not mistaken, part of Romagna. Which may or may not have been invaded by Tuscany back in the day.
Back in the day.
This is the Paradox game knowledge coming out right now.
Yes, thank you, Paradox.
Sanya's starting his lap, but a couple interesting names have been raised in the town of Imola. Not so much as our own here at Formula One. Stefano Domenicali was born in Imola.
Yes, the current CEO and basically the top brass at the F1 centre. He's looking, he's done. I'd say he's done a good job for Formula One. He's really done the expansion that I believe, that the original CEO wanted to do before. Obviously, was it Bernie? Bernie was the guy, wasn't he, doing that kind of stuff at some point? He did the expansion, obviously, in Korea and India, which didn't go as well. But obviously the expansion in North America as well is definitely the biggest accomplishment that he's managed to achieve.
Yeah, also being able to, I'm not sure how he's been able to do it, but convince almost all the teams on the grid. Enough for the voting majority as Sanga also pops himself over the curbs there, as I mentioned on that track at lap I did, how the curbs can be really dangerous, not only took your car about, we saw it real life with Yuki Tsunoda, and the other one.
I can't remember the other name.
No, me neither.
No, doesn't come to me.
No chance. Definitely not Leclerc.
No.
Having a few moments through there, but what I'm interested in seeing for this week, Stephen Frugar.
Oh.
Now he was a little bit unfortunate last week, wasn't he? Around Suzuka.
He was a bit, but did get his win. He did get his win. Oh, he got a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. Well, that's not going to help his weekend. No. But that probably will mean we're going to restart, right? Because we tend to not keep grid penalties. So just be prepared for that later on, everyone. That is unfortunately a bug at the moment with the game, with people going slowly. If the game considers it a yellow flag, then you just get a illegal blocking for being slow behind someone. It's a really stupid bug, but unfortunately there's nothing we can do about it.
No.
But yes.
Oh.
Stephen, yeah, I think he's got to prove himself a bit this weekend. Obviously, he got his win last weekend. He's a very fast driver. Haas have historically done all right around this circuit. They did quite well in the sprint race, if I'm not mistaken, this year.
Yeah, I mean, it is a qualifying car, but thankfully all the
Oh
cars are equal.
God, yes.
So it'll be
Yeah.
down to that. As we see Sparky popping at P2 there on the timing shoot, but a cheeky little position grab. We'd love to see it.
Sparky and Dustin, great combo as we've gone over. That's probably the best team on the grid.
Yes.
In terms of maybe not in terms of driving ability, but they are definitely up there. But in terms of cohesion and working together, they're definitely the best team at that. But yeah, so
they work like
stay with
Velcro,
Fruha?
don't they?
Oh, they do. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Let's stay with Fruha.
Yeah, let's have a little on board with Fruha here. Trying to get as close to the wall as possible, and obviously we've got so many fast corners around here. Starting off with a Tamarello chicane, very quick. Got to be careful here not to run over that inside curb on the ending part, as you're already on the outside and you're already charging your way down into the Villeneuve chicane. Slight lift, tap on the brakes, getting the car rotated around. Absolutely beautiful. As I mentioned, the infamous Schumacher Montoya corner, where
yeah. You didn't see him.
No, Montoya just went wide.
Yeah, we didn't see him.
Coming up to Piratella here. This track is so quick. It's something I didn't really state enough in the track guide. But every single corner comes at you, chained one after another, and it's absolutely miraculous how these drivers are able to cope with knowing the braking points, the brake biases we're going to have to change to throughout the entire lap. Coming up here to the Varianta chicane, be careful over the curves. Rear of the car gets unsettled there, you're going to be invalidating your lap time and facing the wrong direction. But so far, Steven's been able to absolutely time this to a piece so far.
Oh.
Napadovsky doing Napadovsky things with a 13.6 as Fruha ends up getting through Ravazza 1, Ravazza 2, keeps it on the track, beautiful. It's going to be a lap time within bounds. Is it going to be enough to pop himself? Ooh, lovely cheeky.
13.6, and I think there's more time in that because he was definitely cautious through the final two corners. But first of all, Napadovsky putting it P3, Fruha putting it P2, but Seb puts it on the front row. That's quite an incredible thing. Obviously, Sebastian Vettel in real life is that Michael Schumacher was his hero, who has, as we mentioned, the most wins around this circuit.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. Seb there with a fantastic lap time, knowing that we're already a 10th off of some drivers' PBs in this lobby. And now we know how close Imola can be. If you saw the PSGL stream last night, my word, was it a close one. Drivers separated by 0.2 of a second from Q1 to Q2. That is absolutely insane. Thankfully, we do have a short qualifying format, as Seb's going to be pulling over here. And
he's just allowing a lot of drivers through.
Yeah.
Traffic's a problem.
Traffic is a problem around here, but that tends to be the case around a lot of these classical circuits. But I do just want to point out here, Dustin is on a lap, and he is going quicker. Half a temp up through the first sector.
Yeah, which doesn't seem like a lot on if you're in your your normal lobbies or your competitive lobbies, but in this that's basically that's the difference between pole and not pole in our PSGL. It's outrageous. But yeah, Dustin has been looking quick, as you mentioned. He's been on a little bit of a tear the last couple of races. Been looking incredible in race pace, and I'd say been looking incredible in qualifying pace as well. So 10th up in the middle sector through the Varianta chicane, and he might have just kept it in track limits there. But that's going to cost him a couple of tenths, because he had to basically what he did is he made the corner and then he was going to understeer off wide, so he had to make it again. But through the final couple of corners here, double apex there and down the main straight, can he match or beat his previous time? Does a 13.699, and it's put him in contention. But as I said, yeah, that probably cost him a bit coming out of the chicane.
Noted, but how many times have we seen the likes of Dustin and Sparky and Oscar and Lundell be in that P4 to P8 position and find themselves challenging for wins here, there and everywhere, realistically. Doesn't matter what sort of circuit it is. All of them have been able to mount some sort of attack. I mean, even Qatar comes to mind. These drivers are absolutely unbelievable at finding time. And
Oh, God.
Sanger,
sorry,
man,
I got flashbacks.
Don't scare us.
But yeah, Ferrari needs some pace here.
Yes.
11th and 18th is not good enough for the Scuderia.
It's sandbagging.
It's sandbagging.
I promise you.
let's mention something a bit sad, but
Yes.
obviously one of the most famous things about this circuit is the Imola cat that used
Yes.
to
Yeah.
arrive at the circuit every time Imola's around. Unfortunately, I think she died a few weeks ago.
Yeah, passed away
Passed
last
away.
week. Yes.
Which is a big shame.
The lucky black cat, as she was done in the paddock for some drivers, unlucky for others, let's say.
Yes.
But
Luckily,
no.
Maldonado never raced her, because oh my
Yes.
god, do you imagine?
Would have been a very, very lucky cat to be able to live to tell that one. But no,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the cat has left this world to go to a better place. But
The racetrack in the sky.
yes, exactly. But it's not only the cat who has lost their life around here. You've got Roland Ratzenberger, Ayrton Senna, and so many more drivers around this circuit, as you mentioned. Thankfully, Berger in '89 was able to get out of his massive fireball crash.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that obviously the weekend we lost Ratzenberger. We then lost Senna the day after, which is
Yes.
one of those moments in Formula One where you.
Barrichello got injured there as well.
Yeah, Barrichello.
Yeah.
It's one of those circuits that can cause big injuries. Obviously, we mentioned, was it who was the ED? Was it? I can't remember. I can't pronounce his name,
Yes,
but the
UD Ide.
UDI lost his super license here after having quite a spectacular crash on the opening lap of the
Yes.
2006 Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, or as it was known then, the San Marino
Yeah.
Grand Prix. But yeah, no, that was quite an incredible moment there. But yeah, another 5-place grid penalty for Seb, but again, that's going to be removed when we start the race.
Look at this fuel burning technique from Yannick. I love to see it in neutral down the hill, revving the car out. It's absolutely beautiful. But he's going to be coming through Ravat's 17, Ravat's 18 here, and trying to get the best exit possible. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing these lap times absolutely tumble away due to the amount of grip being put down on the circuit. But
look at the traffic there.
it's outrageous on the mini-map.
Just from the Varianta chicane onwards. But yeah, Yannick is the first driver to be out to set their flying lap. Obviously, the track has got better. You can see the clouds are starting to move array around this circuit. Yannick is going to be looking to put an improved time on the board. In the AlphaTauri, of course, an Italian outfit here. Not the main Italian outfit, but one of them.
The closer Italian outfit as well, which I find,
outfit, yes.
I don't understand.
I find staggering that, really,
Yes.
doesn't it, if you think about it? But yeah, everyone is going on their flying lap attempts now. I think everyone should make the line. It's going to be a bit close. Again, remember, we will be restarting the lobby, I believe, after this session to remove grid penalties for certain people. I assume that's how this system is going to work.
It should.
But Yannick, a 10th up in the middle sector, that's not really going to move him too many places. He's going to have quite the final sector here, because as you can see, from 16th upwards, there's nothing in it between everyone. 8/10 of a second between everyone, and there's about a 10th to separate the top four. But here we go. Can Yannick move himself further up the grid as qualifying comes to an end? The checkered flag is out. These are the last laps to count. Yannick only moves himself up one position to 16. That's a disappointing qualifying.
Watch Sparky. There
Sparky
we go.
goes on provisional pole in the Red Bull, no less. 13.3, and that is provisional pole at the moment. Can we see
up, though. There's potential here?
Take pole position in the Williams, goes fourth fastest. Very great qualifying from the Wiki. The other Williams goes into the pit, can't improve his lap time. Tom
there as well.
has invalidated his lap time. We've got two Aston Martins coming around.
Seb's
Seb
up
will be the
first.
first. Seb crosses the line, puts it on provisional pole. Then can anyone else improve? Napadowski can't. He stays third fastest. Cry can't put it any further up. The Mercedes are crossing the line now. One of them pits, one of them doesn't improve. Oscar only sixth. And here comes Sanya. Can Sanya put it further up for the Scuderia? For the Ferrari outfit, crosses the line, only 11th. That's not good for the Scuderia. Can Adam put it any further up the grid? Adam, I think, has crashed in the chicane.
He has.
And Adam has crashed. Oh, it's 2021 all over, 2022 all over again.
Oh,
As
don't
Adam's
remind
put
me.
it into the wall.
Dustin tried
puts
as
it into
well.
the wall as well. But that is qualifying over unless nope, there's no one else
No.
improving on track. It's Seb on pole from Sparky, from Stephen, who put it third fastest when we weren't looking. Napadowski fourth, Dawid fifth fastest as well. And the Wiki sixth, Oscar King seventh, Lundell eighth, Dustin ninth, and Daniel in 10th. But both Ferraris outside of the top 10 in 12th and 14th.
Yes.
Oof.
Unfortunate, but I feel like we do have to give a little special mention to the Williams. For
Yeah.
another one of the facts that I've not mentioned is they're one of only 2 constructors who have ever won a championship around here. Getting
The other being Mercedes.
Yes, Williams got their title wrapped up here in 1980. So we're looking only a couple of years back, a couple of years before we were born.
Yep.
And yeah, it's
A couple.
a couple. A couple. Let's just say a couple. But yeah, no. So Seb ended up with pole there, and obviously we will have to restart the lobby to get some stuff adjusted.
The first Swedish driver on pole position.
Yes, it's been a lovely change. Seb's been a little bit unfortunate. A P5, a P7, and a P5, and a couple didn't start.
But it's a great qualifying.
Exactly. So it'll be very interesting to see what he's able to do in the race, and something else which is going to be very interesting to see what's able to do in the race is our sponsors. Now, we have also got a new sponsor for this season at PSGL, but I believe we don't actually have any graphics so far for them. So you guys are going to have to settle with a good old school GTO Mega ad. It's not raining.
No, it is.
Oh, it is raining, but I do believe a server might need a little restart. But we're back on cam here. Oh, hold on. Maybe we're not restarting.
No, we are restarting. Everyone said retirement. Yeah.
Okay, right. Panic averted. Right, let's have a look at a little bit of carnage here. Let's see what's going to happen.
Oh.
It's all good. It's all fun and games to watch a little bit of carnage at a restart. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Oh.
But, oh my God.
Ferrari in the lead! It's happened! Let's go, Adam.
Adams won.
Adams won. Adams won the
Oh,
race.
no.
We can call it... Okay, never mind.
He's round. Wait, hang on. It's raining, but it's dry.
This will be very fun for the...
I look forward to people trying to figure that one out.
It'll be fun to recreate, let's say that
There's a
much.
safety car out. Daniel wins, I think. I think we're going to restart.
In the chat, though, we've got Ty. Hello, Ty. Hopefully you're doing very well. It's lovely to be able to talk to you. And I can't wait for later, as I do have a very close friend of mine celebrating his 21st birthday today. It's not his 21st
Happy birthday.
Today, but happy birthday.
Sing? Oh, should I set up a party popper for him?
Set up a party popper for him. Go on, then. Go on, then. Why not?
This is for you.
There you go,
What's
Mr.
his
Chaplin.
name?
Mr. Chaplin.
Mr.
Benjamin.
Chaplin. Mr. Chaplin, happy birthday. Ready?
Oh.
Oh, it's broken.
It's broken.
Oh no. Hang on.
Dear.
Oh no, I haven't got the grip.
Oh dear. Shame.
Shame. Hang on, I'll wear my lovely Red Bull. Oh no, this one's just broken.
Shame.
Hang on. This one actually just broken.
This is unfortunate.
I'll grab another one. Don't worry, I've got a lot.
Mr. Chaplin's not getting a party popper today, apparently.
Ready? Here we go.
Oh.
No, they just won't work. They won't work.
Mr. Chaplin's cancelled. No birthday festivities for him.
No birthday, sorry.
Unfortunate.
Party popper's just not working. This is outrageous. I've been screwed here. I should send these back, really.
Absolutely.
It's just not working.
Get a return on them. How many are we going for? Is this a 5th one?
No, I'm going to try again. I'll try another one. Alright, here we go. This one's going to work.
Okay.
Alright, this one's going to work. Ready? Everyone brace yourself. Brace yourselves, everyone.
Brace yourselves.
That
there
one
we go!
Yay!
Beautiful. Absolutely lovely. There we go.
Happy birthday.
Lovely little celebration there. But
that's a clip.
I feel like we're going to have to get a couple more party poppers put aside for when Ferrari end up bringing home a 1-2 around Imola here.
Oh, there's stars everywhere now, Josh.
Oh,
I've made a mistake.
It's not a mistake. It's a moment of celebration.
Yeah. How old is he? 21.
21. Big 2.
Wow. That's if you're in America, that would be a huge deal.
Yes, but you're not.
Why is it a huge deal in America?
I believe it's for drinking age for most states.
Why is that celebrated though?
I don't know. That raises a great point.
That's one for later. We can add that to our
Add
list
that one.
of points.
Yes. Just full disclosure, ourselves and PSGL don't disclose or don't encourage drinking alcohol.
No,
at
we
all.
don't at all.
Alex himself doesn't drink alcohol.
I literally
and
don't drink.
I drink
for
only very, very little. Get water, apple juice, and perhaps a bit of protein powder for a heel shake.
Or Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. That's another great one.
Not sponsored.
Also, Estrella.
What have you got?
Estrella
what have you got on
0%. Estrella 0%. Just mentioned a Ferrari sponsorship. And GTO Mega Chairs. I've heard they're pretty good.
That's the best sponsor.
They're great to drink.
Yeah. You can actually sit in one
and have a drink.
And have a drink at the same time, and you're so comfortable. Honestly,
it's brilliant. Like you can fully whack the chair all the way back as well, and it's like you're lying down. I wouldn't recommend having a drink while lying down. That might be a bit.
No, because you might choke on it. But we're really not good.
No, we're not good salesmen. No, absolutely not. No, not at all.
Don't hire us for sales. We're better commentators than we are salesmen.
Absolutely, better commentators. Let's say that much. But yeah, no, we've gone through a fair few facts around this circuit. So
yes, I
think it'll be time to maybe have a little look at potential winners around here.
Have we checked the driver standings?
I don't believe we have. No,
check the driver standings. It's not an excuse so I can eat some food, but it's just check the driver standings. My face
you can see the driver standings there after Sanghar's penalty. Daniel ended up taking the win, and that puts Sanger in a slightly worse position here, only grabbing a P5 from Suzuka, unfortunately. But with Frufar also being able to get P2, Lundell P3. It turned out to be quite an eventful race last week, and hopefully we'll be able to get another one going slightly shortly around the beautiful circuit of Imola, historic in every single way possible. But of course, we've got the returning drivers of Oscar King as well. Still no sign of El Puma, unfortunately, the legend he is. But Seb last week, you got a feel for the man, don't you? Very, very unfortunate set of circumstances, finding himself not being able to race at certain points during the season.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate because whenever he has raced, he's shown a lot of pace and a lot of potential. As we're going to swap over now for the Constructors' Championship. Doesn't necessarily mean as much, but we've got a lovely little picture of Aqua Minerale so you guys can see how tight that right-hander is going up the hill. But no surprise to Alpine leading the way with Napadovsky and Nardi Perez. With Napadovsky, I mean, just being the Nap, to be honest, isn't he? He's just a different breed.
You can't stop him.
You literally cannot. He's it's. I think it's a bit miraculous he wasn't able to sneak away with pole, to be honest with you.
Well, we say you can't stop him, but he had an awful second half to Suzuka.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if it was to do with damage or what. We heard some stuff after the race that could have been damage-wise for it. But whatever happened at the end of Suzuka, he was not on pace. First of all, just like to mention, got a little insider info in my ear. The race is going to be dry, wet, dry.
Oh, so we're just going to see a bunch of people last on the dry tyres in the rain. I believe last time we saw that, Napadovsky was able to steal a win on the last lap around Silverstone, so it should be interesting.
He was. What? No, did Napadovsky win that race? Yeah, he did. He beat your Ferrari. Yeah, I remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what happened to him? He spun.
Yep. And the Ferrari ended up sailing down.
P4.
Yep.
I wonder if that'll happen this weekend.
Hopefully not, but we can show you guys the gameplay screen now.
We're back.
We're back. We're back in Imola. I feel happy now. I don't feel like I'm in some dusty UK city. It's brilliant.
No, we're not. We're actually in Italy.
Connor at PSGL bought us tickets just to sit us down in a.
I know the set's deceiving, but we are in.
We're 100% in Italy. I promise
100%
you.
in Italy.
This is actually a real camera.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Right.
These are all real people. All those up there cheering for Ferrari.
They're cheering for Ferrari. Woo!
Yeah.
Red Bull, go! I heard that guy say it, Red Bull.
No, that's just the echo of when you shouted it at the start of the stream.
Oh.
Yeah,
we're in
unfortunately.
That's us in the commentary box. We're in that with the building with the poles in front of it.
Mate, you're lucky. I'm sitting in a field out circuit.
Oh.
No, Connor bought me the ticket to get to Imola, but didn't actually get me any clearance. So I'm.
You're living in the house in the middle of the circuit. Wouldn't that be amazing to live there?
Imagine.
Could you imagine that?
Imagine.
What a day that would be, just living in that. Like, you wouldn't get any sleep, but you know.
No.
Right. Anyway, we're waffling because we're waiting for the start of the race.
We absolutely are waffling. But
it will be Seb on pole. Let's not forget, Seb will get the. It's not it's not too long of a run down into turn 1, but we have seen incidents there many years.
I mean, it comes to mind my bestie George Russell and Valtteri Bottas having a little love tap, a little rub in his racing, let's say.
And then an exchange of words, which we won't say here live on PSGL.
No, I'm sure it was. Would you like to go get some apple juice after this race?
Yeah. And also, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen did come together on that opening lap. But it was actually it was the first of fair overtakes we saw that season.
Yes, that was a very creative overtake, which sort of paved the way for the rest of the season, let's say.
But people forget Perez started on pole in that race.
Yes.
Right, anyway, but starting on pole here is Seb for Aston Martin as we head to 5 red lights here. It's lights out and away we go, and it's a good start from the Aston Martin as he launches off the line and Sparky chases him down towards turn 1. Seb leads from Sparky, and Steven is trying to challenge Sparky into turn 1, but he's too far back. We've got wheel-to-wheel battles going up all through the grid as the Ferraris are making their way through the pack. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. That's David, who's been turned around on the opening lap here. It's not what you want to see, but we've got people moving all the way up as we've got Alpine off into the gravel. Who's that? It's Patrick, who's off in the background. Napadowski, on the other hand, is up in 4th place. The Ferraris had a great start, up in 8th and 13th. Sanya having a particularly good start.
Yeah, it's a quick mention here about Nowicki already dropping an awful lot behind Napadowski. It's not necessarily the best start for him, but we know he's got the pace to be able to build it back up and really try and mount a challenge. But so far, we're looking at Seb leading the way comfortably. He seemed to get the start sorted, but yes, as you mentioned, every driver's on the hards, as I believe Vassal and Dell going for a little cheeky move on Dustin there, going into the Alta Variante.
Well, someone's taken a wide line through Variante, but anyway, Lundell is trying to push forward here, but doing a decent job in the Mercedes. I think dropped a few positions back, but Seb with the fastest lap so far. Is this, now we know the rain is coming, is this a strategy to wait until the rain comes down and put some wet tyres on later on?
I don't think so. I feel like these drivers are going to want to try and eke out these hards through the rain to be able to put a set of softs on when it starts drying up, so they'll have the maximum amount of grip available. And look at how close Lundell's getting to the back of Cry here. Obviously, it's Cry's first race here in F6 PSGL. So he's under an immense amount of pressure here, having to represent the Aston Martin team. But he seems to be holding his own so far, holding on to the back of Dustin Vincent, which is no small feat at all.
Not certainly. Yeah, it's always tricky making your debut, especially with your teammate running so high up in first place. It can't be easy to watch your teammate do so well. But he's a professional. I'm sure he'll do his job for today. And at the moment, that's just getting points for the Aston Martin team. Got a yellow flag. It's an Alpha Tauri again round in the background.
Yeah.
Is that David again? Oh, it's been a bad day for him so far. Not liking those hard tyres at all. Napadowski just sticking with this train at the moment with Seb, Sparky, Fruha, and then Napadowski. Napadowski, probably, you've got to say, he's in a good position at the moment. His championship rival's not scoring as many points, and he can just stay where he needs to and just, take his opportunities when they come.
Yeah, he's got a pretty large point cushion to the likes of Fruha, who's only in front of him, and Sparky, who's a little bit further behind him in the championship. But he's got a nice little buffer here, so it'd be very interesting to see what he's able to do, as I believe Lundell is having to go a little bit defensive against Cryx there down the main straight.
Yeah, he made the move.
We know Lundell's great at attacking, but we've never really seen him put under pressure so far in this series. So it'd be very interesting to see how he's going to be able to hold that, especially against a driver that he's not raced against here before. But while this has all happened, I do have to mention Nowicki's been able to catch back up to the DRS of Napadowski. So it looks like we're going to get ourselves a little truly DRS train going, which I for one can't wait to see.
Gotta love a truly DRS train, you really do. But yeah, the DRS in this game, as we've mentioned, Slipstream, insanely powerful in this game. You know who I feel bad for? David. He's not going to catch up to the pack with the fact that everyone else is in DRS. It's basically in this year's game impossible to catch a gap unless you're with the pack, unless you're on new tyres, of course. But at the moment, it's all looking pretty calm here at Imola. There is obviously a chance of rain, as I've mentioned. Everyone's sitting at 100% ERS and just a little bit of usage. But are we going to see Steven not surely go for a move down the main straight? No, you can see how much Sparky is actually closing in here. And Sparky's going to go for the lead of the race. Goes round the outside of turn 1. We saw so many drivers do that during the actual race in Imola a few years ago. Such an easy place to overtake.
I mean, you mentioned about DRS being an absolute saviour for some drivers, and we just saw it right there. Sparky able to breeze right past. A few people have called for the DRS zone to be shorter. I, for one, call for the moto chicane to be put back in. I feel like that would cause a little bit more closer racing, and I reckon we just give them the DRS all the way from Piratella to the Variante Alta chicane, and they're free to use it going into Aqua Minerale if they feel brave enough.
I like the turning on DRS whenever you want button back in the day. That was great.
That was
interesting. You do it in qualifying as well, just coming out of a corner, just press the DRS and get a bit more speed. Whoever felt brave enough to do so. But to be honest with you, right, this is going to sound like a bit of a Will Buxton right now, but Sparky, he might be leading the race, but he's in a really bad position because he's going to get slipstreamed and DRS once again. Like,
yeah, I mean,
they're going to keep swapping over, and it could harm both their tyres.
Yeah, but you got to think, when Sparky's out in the lead here, he's able to get a bit of clean air for his tyres, able to cool them down a little bit better, as we see the drivers darting out the slipstream to try and cool their engines and cool their tyres. Overheating is a large factor in this game, not as much as previous titles of the F1 series, but it's still quite a considerable factor. We mentioned the Red Bull drivers, Dustin and Sparky mentioning it around Austria, as we're starting to see a couple of the penalties start rolling in. As I believe we have a retirement already from Yannick.
Yeah, one of the AlphaTauri. It's
not
been a good day. Not been a good day for the AlphaTauri outfit. Both down in 19th and 18th, with the first retirement being Yannick. But anyway, we carry on the race with Seb still in second place, chasing down our race leader Sparky. Look at this helicopter camera. If we could get access to this every week we drove, it would just be the best thing. But unfortunately, you can't select cameras in this game, which shouldn't be the case. You should be able to select cameras.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a big thing.
It's fine. Dominicali was born on this circuit, so he'll just remove that penalty for Sangha. But no, in all seriousness, Sanga's ended up picking up a 3-second penalty there, and we saw how a 3-second penalty, a 5-second penalty last week dropped him all the way from P1 to P5. Very unfortunate for Sangha so far. But there's still a long distance in this race. 27 laps to go. He can definitely make up 3 seconds. Very similar to what Napadovsky and Fruhar are also going to be trying to do to Seb right now.
And it looks like Seb's going for the lead of the race. Fruhar might try and follow him through there.
He's got it,
and
yeah.
you can just see, Napadovsky! He thought there was a gap, and the Williams, they collided, and Napadovsky's knocked him round.
Nowicki!
Nowicki, who's having such a good race, is round and down the order. And it's a move in the background as well. As Oscar King is trying to battle the Haas driver, and it's allowed Spania to get through as well. Oh, he's round as well.
No!
What's going on lap 6 here as Oscar King's round? Is there a bit of rain on the thing, or has everyone just lost their mind?
Is the rain coming down and we just can't see it? I'm not too sure.
Steven's got a penalty.
Oh, Fruhar's got a penalty as well. Oh no, it's all coming unravelled here, isn't it? As the other AlphaTauri of Dowie.
I think the tyres are overheating.
Yeah, it might very well be. It does go to mention though that the track is overcast at the minute, so this is probably the cooler side of a track. If they've set it to be bright towards the end of a race, we could be in for a few of these drivers losing the rear, to say the least. But Napadovsky, I mean, given the penalty Sanga got last week, we might be looking at another slam dunk 5 seconds for Napadovsky there from the stewards.
Unsafe re-entry, I imagine, is what it's going to be. It's one of those things where he saw the gap form when Sparky was getting overtaken. Adam picks up a penalty as well. Yeah, we saw the gap open up with the slipstream effect, but you saw how powerful that slipstream is. Like, Seb right behind him got the slipstream, but then Steven out of nowhere gets just a light speed of slipstream. Again, there you can see Danico just blitzing past his teammate along with Tom Lukes, just going straight past. It's crazy.
It's a bit outrageous around this circuit, and it feels like I say that every week with slipstream and DRS, but around the likes of Imola and Baku, for example. I mean, next week we'll also have it. Use ! Discord to come join the PSGL Discord to find out the next race of the calendar, or hang around until the end of the stream when we start talking about prospects for these drivers going forward to next week. But Riding on
I
board
don't even
with
know what the
Sparky.
next weekend is.
Oh well, that sounds like a bit of a you problem, but you can
It really is.
come and embarrass Alex by joining the Discord and typing it in the chat, make him feel a little bit ashamed of himself.
Yeah, and knowing more than the commentator, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, as you said, Sparky right on Fruha here. I don't know what's happened to Fruha's pace a bit, but he's very much dropped back from Seb. Is overheating becoming a real problem here, or on the other hand, is the track too cold for the tyres? Because the track is overcast. I wonder if these hard tyres are struggling because they need really high temps to actually start working.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. They could be out of the operating window, which we see an awful lot in real life, but not so much in the game, so it'd be very unique to this circuit to see that happening. But so far, Sparky's still got a whole load of ERS built up, and he's more than happy just to sit going around in P3. As we see a couple of moves going through the grid there towards the back end with Tom Lukes. Again, a debutant here in F6, picking up another position on Oski, who's another debutant here in F6. We've got a bunch of new faces this week, and it's absolutely brilliant to see.
Yeah, we love to see new faces here in our F6. Obviously, F6, the premium event here at PSGL, with some fantastic race. I don't think there's been a bad race this year, to be honest with you. We've had bangers all throughout the grid. Obviously, we'll have to we'll do an award show on our final stream of the year. Maybe we'll have something to think about.
Yeah, perhaps we could get that in the works. Maybe if we ask Connor or Jess really nicely at PSGL to try and get that one sorted.
Got a yellow flag though. Nice Patrick's round again. Oh, it's been a bad day for him as well.
It's going over the big yellow curbs as well. That's not going to help him at all. As you mentioned, the sausage curbs, you mentioned them, on other tracks, but these curbs just around here, they're just as bad.
Well, it's one of those things where they just need to be ironed out pretty much. But Steven's going for the lead of the race here. Steven round the outside of Seb, just easy enough even before the braking zone. Sanya's also made a move. Or as Daniel dropped 2 places there down the back straight. I told you, that is a huge thing when you talk about ERS usage. If you have no ERS in this game, you have no straight line speed whatsoever. And the fact that Daniel was sitting there with 0 ERS basically means he is a sitting duck. As you can see, look how quickly Lundell closed on him there, not even on a straight.
No, it's
like the main straight.
It's a little secret key feature that a lot of people don't know. Obviously, these drivers and race engineers will all know due to the level of competition that when the ERS drops below 10%, it alters the deployment of the battery. They end up receiving less power on medium, and it also causes a couple extra problems on the deployment when they decide to press the overtake button below 10%, which is the reason why we're able to see Lundell catch up without deploying the ERS there. As
went wide there.
Daniel has a little accident in Aqua Minerale. It's not for the first time we've seen a car go a little bit wide there. Fortunately, I don't believe floor damage is on. Otherwise, we could be in for a very painful night for some of these drivers.
Yeah, that's a horrible thing to happen. But yeah, Daniel, oh my goodness me. I held my breath there. Sanya and Dustin did the exact same thing in pirouette style, but their rear ends both going there. There's a real problem with, so there's something going on in the background of the Aston Martin as well. Sanya is making the move past, but Dustin is making the move back past, and 3 into 1 doesn't really work out. And somehow they've all pulled out of it as Cry is trying to go past Daniel. I think Daniel's very frustrated at this moment.
Yes, I mean, at this point, he's going to realise the position he's in, sacrifice a couple positions on track to rebuild his battery to get it within a safe window. And I never noticed the Chipotle sponsor on the Haas car. That's took me by surprise, Val. I've never seen that. Yep. Look at it on the little below the halo. Yeah.
Well, at the moment, that Haas car is currently looking like the actual Haas car in real life. Qualifying pace up the wazoo, but it can't race for what? Oh! Adam was round! Adam was round in the background. I saw him spin. I did the Martin Brundle. I thought I saw him spin in the background, and he did. He lost it going into the...
oh, no. Very unfortunate there for the Ferrari driver at the home Grand Prix, nonetheless. I mean, it's also relatively close to Switzerland, where both the drivers have their in-game nationalities from.
Yeah, there's obviously no Swiss Grand Prix. There should be, really. But motorsport's banned in Switzerland. You can't do it. That's actually a true fact, by the way.
That's sad. That makes me upset.
It was banned because of something that happened at Le Mans.
Oh dear.
And they banned it because of something that happened in another country.
I mean, I suppose we've got safety as priority, which every motorsport should have.
It's raining.
We're seeing drops on the
We're
spectator
seeing drops
cams.
the
So
raid.
the drivers will have seen drops for a couple laps at this point due to the spectator cam having a couple delayment issues with weather. To say the very least, once again, Codemaster's moment. But I'm sure it'll get fixed for next year. Let's look on the positive
Fingers
side.
crossed. Every year we say it, and one
Silver
year it might
linings.
actually all be good. You know, maybe they should just remake the 2020 game because that was pretty much perfect. I didn't have any
Do
major
you know what
problems.
else is pretty much perfect?
Stephen.
Stephen and the way he's leading the race. But I can guarantee Stephen has one thing to thank for his consistent performance here so far.
Himself.
It'll be the GT Omega cockpit.
Oh, of course.
If you use the code PSGL at checkout, you get yourself a cheeky little discount at GT Omega. Go ahead, go check it out. It's definitely worth it. As we
One
can
day
see-
I'll be prepared for that setup. Seb goes around the outside of Stephen, not even
not worth
battling
it.
that one. Not
Yeah,
worth
just
it.
Defending airs. It wouldn't surprise me if we see Sanya also trying to get a move done here.
Easy.
Yeah, it's not worth defending. We saw there with Dustin. He moves over to the inside to maybe put up a slight bit of defense, but it just makes him vulnerable to Lundell even more than he already was.
Ooh, that rain is coming down now. Adam's pitted. Adam said it's intermediate time. Well, that's a risk and a
Oh!
Sanya almost bottles it coming out of the coming out of the corner, and he's allowed Dustin
come
Vincent to
on.
go up the inside. But Sanya has having none of it, and he gets back past him. I think it's time for intermediates. If I were you, that track is wet. It's intermediate time. Everyone keep it on the circuit as Stephen picks up another time penalty there for 3 seconds, as everyone will be pulling in the pit this lap, as Nowicki also adds to his miserable afternoon with a time penalty.
It's unfortunate for Nowicki, but as you mentioned, it'll be very entertaining to see these this lead pack. He's squirming under braking as well, causing him a little bit of pain there. It wouldn't surprise me if we try to see Dustin put a little bit of pressure on going into the pit entry. But as you mentioned, Adam and Julio have already come in, so they'll be looking pretty.
They're not boxing.
They're not. What is this?
That's crazy. Napadovsky's done it. No one else has.
Napadovsky might be making a little work here. As we see
Oh, Sanya.
Sanya, Lundell,
Oh,
Daniel
Sanya,
coming in,
no.
Dustin, Krajek staying out.
He got 5 seconds.
Oh,
It's all gone wrong for Ferrari.
oh no. Ferrari having a moment in Imola. Who saw that one coming?
Who saw that one coming? But yeah, it's now about keeping it on track for the front three. If these front three can keep it pointing in a straight line, they might still get out in front of Napadovsky if the track is not entirely ready for intermediates yet. But I can see by you can see by the gloss on the circuit that it is wet out there, definitely. It's just if they feel they can keep it going in a straight line, there's no point. But look at that, he's definitely into time now.
Yes.
That is sketchy, if
Yes,
anything
absolutely.
else.
Just to clarify as well, this gloss you're seeing, that's not just water. That is the grease coming from the rubber, which has been rained on. The rain and the water ends up bringing all the grease to the surface. So you'll see the intermediate tyre runners breaking off of the normal racing line to try and get out of this horrible greasy patch. And while these these soft compound tyres are still putting rubber down on this track when it's wet, not only does it create more grease, but it also creates little dry patches as well.
There they go.
As they decide now. A very late call there from Stephen to follow it
Oh!
in. As Stephen ends up
Stephen's hit
sideways
the
for
wall!
a second.
He hit the wall.
I hope he doesn't have front wing damage, because that could be disastrous for his race. As Krajek also comes in, we're going to see Oscar
Oh,
come in.
Dustin gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Surely Oscar and Luke are coming in now as well.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's close.
Adam's retired. Safety car.
Safety car.
Stevens retired. He had front wing damage.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Nap-
Napadovsky takes the lead. Or will he?
He should do. Yeah, he's got it. He's
Oh,
got
he
that.
just though. Seb just got out.
Look at that. He's having to brake now to save himself on the Delta.
Oh, he didn't get him.
He
Oh, he
did.
did.
He did.
Oh,
he
my
did.
God.
Seb maybe had a little cheeky poke there. But no, I feel like we do have to mention some unsung heroes so far with the positions gained and lost, with Krajek and Tom Lukes doing a terribly brilliant job, to say the least. Perhaps underperforming a little bit in qualifying, but they're making up for it in the race, which is absolutely brilliant to see.
Poor Adam. But poor Adam for crashing. But also commiserations to Stephen
Yes.
there, because it's one of those things where he's clearly what he's done is he's locked tyres up because it's wet to try and slow down, and he's just slid it into the wall, and the game's hit him to the wall, taking front wing damage, and he clearly in that moment doesn't have enough time to change your front wing, because it clearly wasn't enough damage to cause yourself to change front wing. He also had quite a few penalties as well. It's better just to call it a day rather than, get to the end of the race, finish in a good position, then just drop back due to time penalties.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but that means all the Haas engineers will be working for the one car here of Daniel.
Yeah.
We know Daniel has a lot of pace. He was obviously the winner last time out at Suzuka, so we know he's got the pace, we know he's got the consistency, we know he's got the car control. Just having a quick look at how he did at Silverstone, he netted himself a P4 with the fastest lap. So we know he's good in interchangeable conditions, which is exactly what this race is going to turn into. And the longer the safety car comes out, maybe the more some of these drivers like Seb might be thinking, I could have just hung it out on the hard tyres.
Oh no, it's one of those things where I think it's going to stay wet for quite some time.
I mean, it's absolutely tipping it down at the minute, is it not?
It is. This is exactly what we said about Imola. It's not going to get to the point where we're going to get to full wet tyres, because I think by the time we get to full wets, it will stop raining. But then if you box for the full wets and then it stops raining and the track starts to dry up, your tyres overheat, you're on the wrong tyre at that point. We saw similar things. Do you remember 2021 where Gasly was held on the full wets for like ages, and they never took them off of him until they went to dries? I think similar things in Monaco as well. Like Carlos stayed on the full wets until it went to dry tyres, which was the correct decision in the end.
Yeah, no. I mean, throughout F1's history, we've seen, especially in the real life one, we've seen the intermediate tyres kind of either be used in full wet conditions and work absolutely brilliantly, or they're just completely unusable and drivers just use the full wets going onto softer compounds immediately. Because, of course, these tyres, as I'll ride on board here with Napadovsky to try and show you, they've got little grooves on, which make them wet tyres, technically.
Yeah.
But obviously, with the little grooves, that hard rubber underneath the grooves is going to be still slightly softer than the hard compound. It'll be like an intermediate tyre, excuse the pun, between the hard and the medium tyre. So after the grooves have worn off, it'll be perfectly fine in the dry, and you could also get some very decent pace out of them, as we've seen throughout, some drivers in real life using them on dry conditions and it working perfectly fine. But yeah, it's interesting how this game's also sort of tried to calculate that in as well, with the intermediate tyres having slightly longer longevity and starting to be able to cool themselves down in dry conditions a little quicker than previous titles.
Well, as I said in his lap, the dry now if you run on a wet dry track that say it's like slightly raining but it's still dry, they will burn up very quickly. I've had that happen to me before. Got to be very careful with how quickly those inters burn up. Something we else should mention is Napadovsky leading another restart. How many times have we said that this year? Safety cars tend to lead to safety cars, but hopefully it won't be on this occasion.
You never know, do you? You never know. Safety cars breed safety cars. Imola's not necessarily too good on the safety car scale. We've seen it a decent amount. We've seen red flags here as well. But it looks like Napadovsky's decided to launch there. Probably maybe the worst time possible. As Seb calculated that almost perfectly. Gets the pass done already.
Great from Seb.
For turn one. Seb showing his wits about him here in these intermediate conditions. As Napadovsky, he's struggling. Napadovsky's struggling on those tyres. Yeah, he seems to be having a little wobble.
He's got to be running a dry setup. A lot of these guys might have been predicting rain later on in the race. You can see where the drivers are trying to place their cars, placing them a bit out of the line. The Red Bulls next to each other now, but obviously one of them running with a penalty, one of them not. Cry is going to make a move up the inside of Dustin on his debut. He's trying to make his way past Dustin. He's trying to show himself to the grid, and he might have a real opportunity to, as Dustin has a bit of a mistake, can't make it around the outside of that corner. No one in the world can. It's not a place you want to try and do it. But right now, he's really impressing everyone on the grid at the moment, as Cry is running in P5 with a real opportunity for a very, very good haul of points here for Aston Martin.
Exactly. I feel like I'm going to have a little word with someone in PSGL to try and get Cry full-time on the grid, because so far it's been absolutely miraculous being able to gain positions in the race. And he's holding his own in the wet as well. It's absolutely fantastic to see. Putting a challenge on the likes of Sparky and Dustin isn't any easy feat. No common driver can come in and do it. We simply have the best drivers here in the PSGL, and we also have absolutely fantastic worldies in here in F6 who perhaps maybe shouldn't be in F6.
Oh,
But,
Sparky.
we're still grateful to have him, as Sparky's going to be looking around the outside, but there's no space. Napodowski places his car perfectly,
Oh,
but that's going to compromise
Cry!
him.
Cry made it around the outside. No, he didn't.
No.
He didn't. I thought he had, but Sparky could have got the inside here at the Villeneuve chicane, and he gets pushed out very decently as well,
Oh.
but he gets a bit of gravel as well. Nothing. I don't think there was any wrong move there at all,
No.
personally, but it's just Sparky misjudged his turning point. I think
feel-
Cry also did the same thing.
Napodowski just forgot he was on the outside there. That's perfectly acceptable in my eyes. For getting the drivers on your outside around Imola. That's all good in my books. I don't mind that at all. But
didn't see
Sparky
him.
lost a little bit of time there, but he'll definitely start reeling him back in. And his teammates perhaps playing a little bit of a rear gunner at the minute, just ensuring a little
Seb's
buffer.
lost it.
As Seb ended up having a little bit of a half spin,
Oh.
causing go from first to third, and that's one of the problems with helicopter cam. It is so narrowed in on one of the drivers, we can't often see some
I
mistakes further
commentate
down the
cursed
grid.
him.
You
I
did.
thought in my head he was doing really well. I was about to say he's checking out of this race and he dropped down. Like I can commentate curse people even by thinking. That's how
Just don't
powerful my
think.
commentator curse is. Yeah,
Alex,
I can't think
don't
at all.
think. Don't think at
But
all. Brain empty.
Seb has the pace here to get back into the lead of this Grand Prix. But he really needs to, mistakes are fine, but if it's the mistakes that cost you a Grand Prix victory, those are ones you're gonna, remember for the rest of your racing career. As Sparky right behind Napodowski now. This is for the lead of the race. It's still raining cats and dogs around this circuit, and then we're going to see if it's going to continue. So we've still got quite a few laps to go once we cross the line, and we're not even we're about half distance now, I'd say.
Yeah, just over half distance, a couple laps past that. But Seb, is it just me, or do those Red Bulls look like they take such a wide line going into
They
Tosa
do.
there, trying to get the best run possible to protect themselves going up to Peritella? It's interesting. I mean, surely they're saving a bit of ERS by doing that, but my word, it's very close.
Yeah.
But something else we should mention, obviously because it's raining, the DRS has been disabled. So hopefully we won't be able to see cars just easily breeze past each other on the main straight, and we'll be able to see some good racing going down.
Well, you say
into
that, but
Tamarello.
the Sparky slipstream that he had on the couple of runs he's had down into turn 1 is still quite ridiculous. Oh, Napodowski's made a bit of an error, and you can't give Sparky a little opportunity like that as he's straight past Napodowski. One of those things, once again, as we mentioned in qualifying with another driver. Has Seb got up the inside?
No,
I thought he had.
he almost
For a
he
second,
thought
he
about
tried
it.
it. But it's one of those things where he's gone into the chicane, and clearly what's happened is hit the curb and it's understeered him wide. And to not get track limit penalty, he has to slow down and readjust his steering wheel. But this is absolutely compromised Napodowski, which will allow Seb to go round his outside.
I've seen this move here before.
Pace, and he might get it done into turn 1. There's still wheel to wheel. Seb will have to give him respect. Napodowski does the same. Can Napodowski get the switchback move on him? No, but can the Red Bull have an opportunity on Napodowski as well? This is similar to Suzuka. What's happened to Napodowski? He's dropping back, and at the moment he's not in the bases.
Dustin, be
catches
careful!
2 snaps there. Goodness gracious me, what a catcher of snaps that was. He's only got 29 ERS left as well.
I know, it's outrageous. We've got some drivers up here with 70. Well, we're seeing the likes of Dustin and probably Kreitz as well, burning through a little bit of ERS. They're not shy to use it during this wet segment. Obviously, drivers will have preferences to whether they prefer the track dry or wet. So some of the drivers who may have done a bit more wet practice or a bit more intermediate practice, perhaps they're smiling a little bit on the inside and deploying a little bit more of their ERS while they're in a good position. But I do have to mention, Nowiki's had a great comeback so far, up into P9. It looks like he might be trying to push Danny Coe through the chicane there.
Yeah, Nowicki, you got to feel
Hold
for
on.
him, really. Nowicki, as we're going to see
Right.
more
Oh.
Dustin. I
Look
think he
at-
got a little tap there in the rear. He might have got a little love tap from Cry behind, or did he just lose the rear end? But you can see how in control these drivers are. Maybe you can see this little snaps and you think, oh, maybe they're not actually in control, but they are. They know exactly what they're doing with those sort of snaps. As Cry is going to have a good run here. The Red Bull not willing to give him an inch at all, as the Red Bull's going to go around the outside of Napodowski. Napodowski,
No.
you have to wake up. Oh, Dustin's gone wide, and he's going to come across the
He's
gravel.
having to yield those
And
positions
he's had
as
to
well.
yield
Yeah.
both those positions, and he might even yield 7th as Daniel makes his way past as well. Is Dustin going to have a couple of words there? I don't think there was too much in it personally, but he's just gone a bit wide.
Yeah, I think he may have just ended up snatching one of the brakes there and running it through the gravel trap. He definitely did the wise decision there to just cut the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Lewis Hamilton Abu Dhabi style. Just go past the corner. It'll be fine. You'll get back on track. You'll lose a couple of positions. It's absolutely okay. Wouldn't worry about
Unless
it
you're
too much.
Lewis Hamilton in Abu Dhabi 21.
Yeah.
But he lost time. He dropped back.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Definitely.
Oh,
Oh, Daniel! Speaking of dropping back, he's gone wide again.
He's
That's
having
the
to yield
second
that
time.
one, surely. Look at
He
it.
might have to. No, he's got a terrible exit. He's got two. He's really
Oh.
squeezing him to the edge. Oh, and once again, that's compromised Dustin, who's going to have to cut the chicane, and that's going to give him a 5-second time penalty for cutting the corner. That's a ridiculous penalty game, because what is he meant to do in that situation?
I think that 5-second will get removed, and I feel like Daniel's going to get a 5-second penalty slapped on himself. As a very similar thing happening to Zuka to Daniel himself. He should have been a little wiser there to realise
Yellow
that's a
flag.
bad
It's
decision.
Sanya, and it's a safety car, and Sanya's crashed at the chicane. And Ferrari fans, close your eyes.
No. I'm going to
think
cry.
about the past, because the future is not that bright. As Sanya currently 15th place and without a front wing.
I never thought I would say I missed 2006, but I do. Well, hold the phone.
Oscar King has put on medium tyres, ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing, Sunshine? It's
Julio's
still
done the
raining.
same thing. Oh, there's Dustin.
Oh.
Dustin's got 5 seconds for ignoring yellow flags. The Delta.
Potentially.
And a bad day for Dustin.
Oh, it's been an eventful one, hasn't it?
Is it going to be a Ferrari masterclass? No, because he's put on Inters. Surely you've got to give Dries a go.
So, by Ferrari masterclass, do you mean a masterclass for Ferrari standards, or do you mean an actual masterclass by Ferrari?
Well,
because this is like a masterclass for Ferrari. It's raining and they've actually put wet tyres on. We'll take that.
Okay, Oscar King. Let's keep an eye on him, because obviously he's the lead medium runner. It's clearly still raining here.
Yep.
But I suppose what's going through Oscar King's head is he hasn't got anything to lose. As it stands, he's got time
Look at the
penalties.
revs on the dashboard here. He's jumping between gears.
He's definitely taking it, I'd say, cautiously, at best. Obviously, he can still pit now and get back on his inters if he wants to. If he wants to abandon this strategy call, he's going to lose a few positions, of course. But it's not ready for Dries out there, is it? Let's be honest.
No. Look at that. The car's aquaplaning at the rear there when he tries to get on the power. It's not looking great. But because of the gap, the safety car might be out for a couple laps longer.
As well.
Dustin
No way.
Lundell. Are they seeing cars going onto the medium tyres and thinking that's the right move?
No, they put on a new set of inters.
I mean, they've got enough time behind him. All they'll have to do is try and get a pass on Oski and they're back to where
Julio's
they were.
got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. How can he possibly speed under the safety car? He's on medium tyres. He's not. King's not boxing.
King's staying out. Is Julio? No, Julio's decided he wants to be part of a new Fast and Furious film, drifting around corners like that.
Yeah.
My word. Fantastic car control. Fair play to him. It's absolutely brilliant. But coming down to the last 10 laps, if it's going to start drying, it'll be now. And I don't want to say anything, but down this main straight, there's an awful lot less rain than there was.
Yeah, it's in the
last lap.
corners though, isn't it? It's still raining on
Patrick's
track.
on softs as well.
This is a horrendous idea.
This is dangerous.
It's going to be right. Obviously we I don't know if you could tell from our accents, but we're both from the country of Britain.
Yes.
In the English.
The United Kingdom.
Yes, as it's sometimes called. I've done go-karting, and obviously in England it rains a lot.
It does.
And sometimes when you're out on track on dry tyres, it will start raining. And I can tell you that this is incredibly risky. And a lot of English drivers learn. That's how they learn how to car control, because you just sort of get used to having to drive on a wet track, and it's something that you get used to. But this is risky.
I have a fantastic story about Imola's home hero, and some people might call him the GOAT. I personally do. I know you don't necessarily think along the same lines as me, but Michael Schumacher.
He was number 1 on my list.
Good. Keep it that way. But let's hop on board here with Sanya while we talk about the Ferrari legend. So Michael, growing up, him and his brother Ralph, they didn't come from a great family. They used to have a little food stand, and that's where the majority of their income came. And they didn't often have enough money to be able to afford tyres for go-karting. So they used to go through the bins, and they used to pick out... Sanya, mate, you can't just overtake on the safety car, Sunshine, surely.
No, I think he's boxing.
Interesting. Very interesting. But as I was saying, they didn't have enough money to get tyres every week. So What they did was they used to go to competitors and take their old tyres they've used, which have all been scrubbed off and, worn, and they used to strap those to the go-karts and go. But as it is in most places of Europe during that time, it was a little bit wet, to say the least. So whenever it came to rain, all the other competitors ended up getting wet tyres because they could afford it, while the Schumacher family couldn't. So Michael and Ralph had to drive in full wet conditions on slick tyres every single time they went go-karting in the wet. And that's why, that's why Michael himself says he was good in the rain, was because he ended up having to suffer that when he was little. And Ralph himself has also said that's one of the reasons why he wasn't too bad in the rain.
Yeah. Sorry, that is a amazing story. I have seen it before. Obviously, the Michael Schumacher documentary is fascinating. Got to go watch that if you can. Other people have boxed onto soft tyres.
Yep, Dustin.
Dustin, not only Dustin, Sanya, Patrick, and the other Williams of. I think it's because it's not raining anymore.
I feel like I need to talk about Michael Schumacher a bit more often when it starts raining.
It's dry. Everyone's going in. It's time for dries.
So this will come down to
Oscar King might lead. He's going to be leading the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix.
That's absolutely outrageous, Oscar. How have you planned that one?
Obviously, the safety car is still out, so it also means Julio is moved up into second. There's still cars to catch because that pit lane is long. Don't forget the Imola pit lane is incredibly long.
Seb's jumped Napadovsky in the pits.
There's not only that, but Osik has gone past, and not only that, Patrick's gone past as well.
Oh my word.
Dustin's got a few places up. This is a strategic masterclass from a few cars.
I mean, I agree with Adam Johnson. It is an Oscar masterclass so far. How on earth has he been able to pull this one off? But we saw last week as well. Drivers having a little bit of a mixed strategy. Yeah, but we saw last week, didn't we? Drivers having a mixed strategy, going on to mediums and softs towards the end because of a safety car.
No.
Will it be worth it? Which tyre's going to be the quicker? I mean, Patrick's obviously put himself at a bit of a disadvantage by going on the soft so early. The likes of Sparky, Dustin, Danny, Nowicki, Tom, and Cryix are all on the soft tyre, and it's fresher than his. So,
safety car's going to be in this lap.
Surely. We'll get the notification very soon.
The amount of different drivers choosing when to pit is why we've got to dry conditions, because what it's meant is the safety car's been out for a certain amount of laps, and the safety car's in, everybody. We are about to go for a restart here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, and everyone is on dries, and clearly the circuit is not dry yet. It's getting there, but it's not dry as it stands, and we are starting the race with Oscar King leading. Julio is going to have to box, do a drive-through, because he got a drive-through penalty under the safety car, and as it stands at the moment, because he's the only one in the top three without penalties. How do I pronounce that name? I can't even pronounce his name.
I'm saying it's Oski.
Oski will be basically provisional race leader, and Oscar King chooses to go. And here we are, we're racing underway once again. And some people have got a good restart, some people don't. And Patrick is trying to use those soft tyres to his advantage. But there is Sparky already making moves up the grid. Can he make a move into turn one? He keeps his lead, and he's up in fourth. There's someone round. Dustin's round in the background, and there's another yellow flag. Dustin is completely turned around here.
Sparky's making moves. Look at that.
He's already up into third. He's back up into third. Dustin's retired on track. Is that going to cause a safety car? It might not, but Sparky up the inside as well. He's made up another
tyres
position.
Are on fire. My word, Sparky, you cannot do this, man, under a restart.
Oh, they're still wheel to wheel, but he didn't want to give up. And Julio didn't want to give that one up, but he had to. Sparky into second. Oscar King still leads. But yeah, those soft tyres coming alive here on the restart. The track is now completely dried out. And everyone making moves. Napadovsky up in front of Seb as well. That's important. People are late on the brakes. Is that Napadovsky round?
No, I believe that was Patrick sliding his way through. Napadovsky's still there.
Napadovsky is trying to get past his teammate, but Seb is not letting this move go as well. Seb trying to go around the outside of Napadovsky in the final chicane. He's going to get run onto the gravel if he's not careful, but he's still there. But why isn't Patrick giving up this position? Julio pits because he has to serve his drive-through penalty, and that'll drop him down the order.
But Seb's got the run.
And Seb, surely no. He can't make the move on Napadovsky now, Seb. And he looks to the inside, but he can't do it. Is Oscar King just going to win this race because he's got medium tyres on and not softs?
Potentially.
He's got a penalty, though.
It depends whether he's able to pull out the gap. So far, he's looking pretty good for
What
Sparky.
is his time penalty? For how long? How big is it? And the wiki gets 3 seconds.
Find out 3 seconds.
Only 3. Oh my god, there's moves going on all around in the background. I'm trying to keep an eye on everything. As Napadovsky, I think, he's got to run on the inside of his teammate. No, he hasn't. He can't get past Patrick. Patrick won't give this one up.
Patrick has 12 seconds worth of penalties. If I was Napadovsky, I'd be shouting on that radio, "Get out of my way! Come on, I'm on better tyre, better strategy so far.
Another one.
Get moving. 15 seconds worth of penalties. Surely the black flag's coming soon. Surely.
It's about 21 seconds before the black flag comes out.
Oh.
But Napadovsky will be screaming in that pit in his box there. He can't believe that his teammate won't move out his way. Sparky's going to take the lead on this lap. He might do it just down the back straight. But Napadovsky is seriously losing time to the front. Now, as there it is, Sparky pulls to the outside line, and there's nothing that Oscar King can do about it as Sparky takes the lead. DRS is enabled here, and Sparky into the lead of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for Red Bull. Has Napadovsky finally got the move? No, Seb's got it. Seb round the outside of turn 1. He's made that move. Spectacular.
Oh, Daniel as well.
Seb.
Daniel
Daniel's
snuck
also
past.
made the move.
Oh
and
my
Napadovsky's
word.
down to 7th. He's used all his ERS. He was flashing. His lights were flashing. And now he's trying to make it move back past the Haas driver. Can he go round the outside? They touch wheels, and he's still in control of his car, but Tom's going
That's gonna be
past.
such a poor run.
Napadovsky pulls to the left, and he's dropping places. He's dropping like fly. He's down to 9th place, and it's all gone wrong for Napadovsky. Can he keep it around the outside? No, he gets squeezed out. Oh, Napadovsky, what has happened in this race? It's going to be absolute catastrophe in that team meeting afterwards, because it's all caused by his teammate.
I mean, dear me, and he's got Lundell behind him. We mentioned last week, if there's a driver you don't want behind you, at any point of the race, it's Lundell. He will send a move where it should not be sent. He will do the unthinkable and make it stick. So I, for one, want to sit on board with Lundell for a little bit here and see if he's going to be able to cook anything up.
Napadovsky is going to be raging inside of that cockpit right now. Absolutely raging. I can imagine what's going through his thoughts. Look at the gap that King and Sparky have out at front. 0.6 of a second. And actually, at the moment, Oscar will stay in 2nd place.
Yes.
As it stands, he will have 2nd place on the grid. And at the moment, Orsic will still have 3rd because Patrick this is what we call the truly trade right now. Patrick won't let anyone past him.
Seb round the outside.
Seb round the outside. He went around the outside of one Alpine in turn 1. He's done the other on the around the outside again.
Sorry, is Daniel following him through again? Almost.
Oh, Daniel,
almost at the top of
about
the
it.
teller.
Seb now the one behind Orsic, who does really not want to be there. He's had a fantastic race, by the way, for Williams. That is going to be fantastic points if he can keep hold of a high position. There's not many laps to go. I've just seen the lap timer. It's going down. Lap 29 of 32. Oh, Napadovsky. How has that happened again? 2nd weekend in a row. Oh, yeah. He might gonna make up some positions due to time penalties. He might still finish in 5th place, actually. But oh no, it's been a weekend that could have been so promising. Is that going to be Seb pulling to the outside of Orsic? He's going to go around the outside of the Williams man. I don't think there's anything you can do about it. Seb up into 3rd place. And Seb back into the podium places.
Lundell's got the move done as well there in the background.
Oh, Lundell into Napadovsky. He's fallen down to 10th. He's almost out of the points, but as we said, due to time penalties, he'll still be in the points by the end of the checkered flag.
Not only that, Tom as well. We've got the 2 debutants in P4, P6. And we've got Crykes, who showed brilliant pace earlier. Surely not.
Up in his eye goes Danny Co. Those soft tyres working spectacular here at Imola. And he can't make the move. He backed out of it in the end. My voice is having quite the time at the moment.
You know,
but, yeah, this is.
I thought, hey, it's Imola, it'll be fine. I watched F1 yesterday for the PSGL stream. It was pretty good, but I won't need to grab a bottle of water. But I absolutely will if the wiki's going to start pulling out moves on Naliski. Oh, my God.
Daniel picks up another time penalty there. Can I just say, Oscar King has not been dropped by Sparky. He is sitting behind him about 9 seconds. Sparky's got no ERS left. His light's flashing.
Dare I press T and have a look at the ERS for Oscar?
It could be close.
Ooh,
Oscar with
20,
19%.
20.
Seb fastest lap of the race. He wants this win, but I don't think he's going to run out of time for it.
Surely. It'll be whether Sparky ends up making a mistake.
Sparky
we've done a
picks up
caster
a
curse
time
before.
penalty.
We've done a horrible commentator curse to him before, so I'm going to keep his name out my mouth.
Sparky, all he has to do now is, well, keep it pointing in the right direction, and he wins this race. Honestly, if I was Sparky, I'd let Oscar King pass. As long as you're not going to get a time penalty, you've won the Grand Prix, as far as I'm concerned. And Lundell, he's not going to launch it around the outside there. Oh, he tried it, but he ran wide. And that will allow Danico didn't see him, and he goes up the inside of 2, and into the 7th. This is absolute spectacular racing here at Emilia Romagna. At Imola, it's fantastic. I just like saying Emilia Romagna, I can't lie. But also, Tom Lukes, can we say, what a tremendous debut driver he has had here this afternoon.
Someone's had to fly the Italian flag here at Imola.
He's done it.
He's done
it well. He does have time penalties, though, so hopefully that won't drop him too many places. But Lukes has done fantastically well. We are on the penultimate lap of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix here at Imola. And it's still Sparky who leads Oscar King. And right now, as it stands, Oscar King will finish 3rd, not 2nd, due to him being in that 3-second range of Seb.
With all these drivers, Krajic's making a move on Napadovsky there. Again, after a safety car restart. What on earth has happened to Napadovsky? No way.
I don't know. Napadovsky down to 12.
Hold on, is that Patrick suffering? Oh no, Patrick's
losing as
well.
Down. Oh, he's losing it all over the place.
Napadovsky's on the grass! What are you doing?
What is going on in this race? Napadovsky, he did what Alex Albon did. Try and stop me getting past. He'll get past on the grass. There's 3 wide and Napadovsky drops back even further. He's now down into 12.
Oh my word, Napadovsky, man. You can't go on the grass for an overtake. It's not safe. We saw George Russell and Bottas do a similar thing and it caused a catastrophe.
Oh, it's been what has happened to Napadovsky? Is the title slipping out of his hands here?
It's for safety car restarts, I'll tell you. His tyres just didn't seem to be fired up, and once again, we saw it in Suzuka where he was under pressure as well. I feel like he needs to have a little review of what's gone on with his engineer and really try and get some sort of grasp of understanding.
Well, and his teammate, to be honest with you, because I'd be fuming at his teammate if I was him.
I want to be a fly on that wall. I want to know what's going on
just for a moment, you don't want to be a fly on the wall for that. But anyway, we're on the final lap. Sparky, he's going to get overtaken by Oscar King here. And King will take the lead of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And as long as Sparky doesn't get a time penalty, he will still win. So Oscar King will now pray and hope to the racing gods that something happens behind him. And we've seen positions change again. Sanya picks up another 3-second time penalty. I think he's just going for fastest lap of the race just to save some Ferrari pride. But at the moment, what's the gap to the leader between Seb and Oscar? Because that could be huge.
It's just 3 seconds at the minute. The closer Seb gets, though, and he's closing in quickly.
Cautious sector 3. Sanya's retired. Both Ferraris out of the race. Danico's making another move. He's up into 5th. But as it stands, Oscar King will cross the line in P1.
I thought Dom had enough there to be able to pop
Lundell picks up another 3-second time penalty. It's not good at the moment. Sparky still in 2nd place without a time penalty. And he won't pick one up, even though that was very close to him causing. But as we ride on board with the Red Bull driver, he will see Oscar King in front of him. But Oscar King will pick up what I got to say is probably a well-deserved finishing in front in the checkered flag. He'll cross the line to come home in 1st place, but he'll finish on the podium. Sparky wins the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Oscar King will come home in 3rd place. Orsic will come home in a very well-deserved 4th for Williams.
Let's see how the penalties change. We saw Krajic's up to P5 on his debut. And
I don't think Napadovsky scored, did he?
I don't think so.
Oh, no. But yeah, first of all, I think driver of the day goes to this man.
Absolutely. Phenomenal
What a drive. And I don't know what the game's going to give it. Danico, also, to be fair, Danico done a fantastic drive as well. But
I'll tell you what a Grand Prix. Imola delivering once again here in PSGL.
Always does. It always does. The Emilia Romagna Grand Prix or the San Marino Grand Prix or whatever you want to call it, it always delivers. And once again, Sparky falling over. Is he an outside shot for the title here?
I mean, you say outside. He's the closest one to Napadovsky. And if my calculations are correct, if Napadovsky's scored less than... No, I'll tell you what. It doesn't
Sparky
matter.
taking the lead.
Sparky is now our championship leader.
And that is going to be news Napadovsky does not want to be hearing.
Oh my word.
It's been back-to-back horrible races for the man from Alpine. Did Napadovsky score? He's same
Scored
7th.
6, right.
He scored 6 points. Check the points. I'll go through our running order for the list. So Sparky wins the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Seb does finish in a well-deserved 2nd place. Oscar King, brilliant result for 3rd for McLaren. Orsic from 15th to 4th, absolutely brilliant. Cry on his debut as well, finishes in 5th. Danico, 19th to 6th. Fantastic. Napadovsky only 7th from 4th on the grid. Tom Luke 16th to 8th. Fantastic for Alfa Romeo. Nowicki had that problem with Napadovsky. We got to say Napadovsky might not score still because of a time penalty coming his way. There's still that under investigation, I imagine.
Yes,
Nowicki
yes.
in 9th, and Lundell does round out your points finishes in 10th. Wow.
Now, I've run my numbers, and boy oh boy, it's something else. But before then, I believe it's only fair we give a little shout out to our sponsor, which is able to produce such great racing for us at GT Omega. Wow, where do we start there? My word, that was, my mind is blown. I'm upset because we didn't get to see a necessary Ferrari win, but it was so great to watch that race. My word, the interchangeable conditions with safety cars, all of it added up, built up to that perfect climax. And Oscar King, strategy masterclass, dare I say? What were you thinking?
Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant indeed. Hopefully we can get our top 3 in here.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. But you know, we mentioned while we was just running that ad for a little bit there. We feel like a couple after race penalties are going to end up being applied here. Just a couple, to say the least.
So top 3 was Sparky. Sorry, I'm just trying to at people. Sparky. Oscar, was it? Oscar King? Or was it Danico?
Yes.
Oscar King. And who's the last one? Can't remember. It's the Seb.
Yes. Fastest lap as well with Seb. Great showing. Very unfortunate with the safety car, but oh, my word. That was something else, honestly. Some of those drivers on the intermediate tyres, if that race stayed wet until the end, my word, that would have been crispy, wouldn't it? But yes, so we're going to get the drivers in the waiting room.
Yeah,
I can already
we've got
see
Oscar King in there first, who did finish in 3rd, so we probably should get him in first, I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely.
So
let's get Oscar in. Let's give him a
Shall I drag him in?
Yeah,
I'll drag him
in.
Oscar, welcome. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish in the race. But what a strategy to call, and what a brilliant race from you, my friend.
Thanks, boys. That was a crazy one.
Absolutely. Deserved to win, to be fair. Very unfortunate with the penalty. Do you feel like that's something you can try and apply to get removed, or are you just happy to sit with the P3?
Oh, I wouldn't say I'm happy to sit with the P3, but it's not something I can get removed. It's just like a discipline, unfortunately. So yeah, it's disappointing, but that's all right.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, Imola's known for its track limits. We had drivers with upwards of 15 seconds worth of penalties throughout the race, mate. So to only get 3, I'd say very well done, to be fair, mate. It's unfortunate it's cost you the race win, but let's talk about that little strategy masterclass, because me and Alex were here screaming you were on the wrong tyre for a good 3-4 laps, and you made it work. You made it work.
Yeah, I had a similar scenario in a league race a few weeks ago at Canada. And it's just like when the changeable weather's coming out, the safety car stays out so long that it's often the best call to go on the dry, like the new tyre. And look, I was down in P12, so I just send it, see what happens, eh?
Yeah. Well, I said to Josh on commentary, well, the thing is, you don't really have anything to lose at this point, apart from obviously the car. But obviously, you kept it on circuit. You climbed up into the lead of the race, and at that point, did you think, okay, right, I've got a few cars between me and some of the guys that started near the front, and you thought, can I go on to win this, or did you think that someone would get you at the end, or what was your thought
Yeah,
process
look, with the
going on?
penalty, I thought it was really unlikely that I'd be able to fight for the win. And then I got sort of put in a position where it was close, if Sparky had got a pen maybe.
Yeah. That's
But
why you took
then
the
just
lead
didn't
at
have
the
the
end.
gap. Yeah, like just didn't have quite the gap to even get the second. So, but I'm still really happy with it. Like if you told me I'd get third 10 laps from the end, I would have been thrilled with that. So,
So something me and Josh like to do on our things when we interview. Obviously, this is the first time we've interviewed you. When you go away from this interview and you think about this race later on this evening, what is one moment from the race that stands out to you? What is your standout moment of the race?
the 2 track limits I got in the first 4 laps. That's probably one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, honestly, it is just a lack of discipline. I need to reflect on that and just get better, really.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, you clearly have the pace, so
absolutely.
we'll hopefully see you up there more on as we. What's the next track we go to, Josh?
It is Belgium.
Belgium. Are you a fan of that track?
Oh, we'll see how we go.
Oh well, humble
be right.
man. The humble man.
Humble man. Expected big things from McLaren.
Yes.
You've been looking
Thanks
good
very
so
much,
far.
boys.
All good.
But
Thank you very
man.
much. Congratulations. And
Cheers.
yes, we'll be looking forward to watching you next week, mate.
Yep. See you then.
Thank you, man.
See ya.
What a nice chap.
Lovely.
Oh, nice
Again,
fellow.
another lovely person.
And we're going to bring in your race winner.
Oh,
Sparky picks up a race winner obviously, as I said at the top of the broadcast, I am supporting the fan favourite, the Red Bull outfit.
get out.
And
out.
you pick up the win for the boys. How was it, Sparky? How was it for you, man?
Intense, I think.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to read the race, to be honest. We knew it would be wet, dry, wet, and then dry again. But yeah, the qualifying was so strange as well because we all had no grip. It was so cloudy.
Yeah.
It was very fun to drive, but also very difficult. And then yeah, the race would go ahead. I think it was just about DRS train. Then I think we boxed 1 lap too late. I think Napadowski called it right. He was P1 for the moment, but the interpace was quite good.
Yep.
So I could take the lead, but then it was just about when the safety car came out, you had to guess, are you going to pit for dries or stay out for inters?
Yeah.
And I could have boxed a bit earlier. I had the same scenario last game where I lost out big time and was basically the only one who pitted very late and lost the race. So I had that in mind. But yeah, I think it was important because we didn't have track position to put the soft on to make the moves early on. But yes, the soft died completely in the last 2 laps. But yeah, some guys like Sepp and Oscar had great pace there at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So, don't suppose you keep too much of an eye on the championship because it's so early in this championship. But with Napadowski not getting an after-race penalty applied, but me and Alex believe he might do because he did a very similar thing compared to what he had in Suzuka, where he kind of squeezes a driver out. So there's a potential for a penalty for him, but as things stand, without an after-race penalty, you're 1 point behind him in the championship standings.
I think I'm actually a bit more behind.
No, you're just for 1.
Okay.
You're that close up.
Of course, I had 2 bad races at the start of the season, so it's nice after a bit of bad luck in Suzuka to get some momentum going because I lost out with the double stack last time. So yeah, I'm not really thinking about that. I'm just trying to maximize the races and have clean battles. I hope it was clean from my side, everything, because I think I squeezed Napadowski a bit, but I haven't received an answer from him.
I don't really remember. There was a lot of incidents.
Napadowski going on the grass for an overtake?
Okay.
No, that was later in the race.
I didn't squeeze him on the grass, but I don't know if I moved a bit.
Yeah, no, I don't think I saw anything too
Nothing,
outrageous
yeah.
from you? We usually call that kind of stuff, but no, I didn't see anything from you. Don't worry, there was a lot more outrageous stuff than
Absolutely.
if something you did, Sparky. So it's all good. But yeah, so obviously your teammate didn't have the best of races this
Yeah, he was
afternoon.
unlucky. He was very
Unlucky
unlucky.
again. The Red Bull luck seems to be bouncing up and around. But anyway,
Mm.
so Belgium next weekend. How are you and your teammate looking for Belgium?
I drove a race there, I think 2 weeks ago, and the pace was not too bad. But I think I need to improve a bit to be competitive. But yeah, this grid is extremely tight. I think we saw it in qualifying today. So I hope the tight gaps will favor me and maybe not someone else. But yes, sorry for my teammate and thanks for commentating. I'm looking forward to next week. I will be racing. So, and in terms of pace, I think it depends on how good the others are and how good I can prepare. But thanks for commentating.
That's all right. And obviously, one last thing from me and Josh. Obviously, you've been interviewed by us before, but what's a moment you remember when you leave this commentary booth and think about the race later on? Like maybe the restart after the safety car when you went to drive. So, what was your moment of the race?
I think it was the moment where I thought the race could be lost when some guys behind me pitted for slicks, and I thought maybe I should have gone for that as well. I think the Mercedes drivers did that.
Yeah,
and
and
it worked.
obviously the
And
McLaren
Oscar,
driver,
yeah.
which almost cost you the race. But were you on any warnings? That's a good thing to know. Did you have any track limit warnings?
I had one, I think, in lap 19.
So just the one. Okay.
I had one warning.
We were worried that you might have picked one up on the last lap and
No.
you get close enough. But yeah, that would have been an awful race to lose because you basically gave that position up and then you're like, I'm just going to sit here and take my place that time penalties. But anyway,
yeah, there
Sparky,
was no point in fighting him because he had the better tires at the end.
yeah,
So
exactly.
And he had a goal as well to get Sepp out of the 3 seconds. So I just let him pass, and I hope that he.
Yeah, he almost did it.
I hope that he couldn't get the 3 seconds removed, but he said to me that he can't get it removed.
Yeah.
No, it's a track limit reach one. He got 2 on the same lap, which is what cost him basically the race.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sparky, thanks for having an interview. Hopefully you enjoyed racing that one, and we'll see you in Belgium maybe.
Yeah, thanks for commentating. I will have a listen later.
More than welcome. Hopefully you enjoy it as much as the lovely viewers have today. Oh,
yeah. Thank you.
Crossed. You're welcome.
Have a great evening.
Thank you. Again,
Lovely
everyone's
man.
just lovely.
What a lovely man.
Should have driven a red car, but lovely.
Yes. Let's talk about the red cars. How do they?
It wasn't a great outing.
No, I think part of it was unlucky. I think again, as Sparky just mentioned to us, I think the track was awful to drive in terms of grip. I think I could see it from drivers. Clearly, they were not having fun. Maybe I'm going to make a bold claim here. The hards were not the ones to start on in that race.
I think, maybe. I feel like the mediums
should have gone mediums.
Probably lasted the distance, but I think it was more of them being safe.
I understand why they went hard, but if I was driving, obviously I don't use the hards at all. I used them once last weekend in Austria, and I'll never use them again.
I saw.
And yes, I was quite angry that day. Yeah, Joshua, remember. But anyway, what is the next track? Where are we going? Where are we jetting off to next weekend? Next Thursday.
Mentioned in the meeting, and to be quite honest, might as well just take the train because it's just slightly further up north for Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. I mean,
what can you say about that circuit? What can you can't say anything about it.
What can you not say about it? We're going from Ferrari circuit to perhaps what I would look at in my eyes as Michael Schumacher's circuit. It's where he started.
Well, I'm gonna go back on that. Kimi Raikkonen circuit.
Ooh, potential.
Kimi has a lot of wins around Spa.
He's very good. I mean,
he was always very good around Spa.
God, can you remember that infamous moment where he just went full throttle through the smoke? He
probably didn't even know it was happening.
No, he
probably wasn't even aware.
He sort of just looked at it and just went.
Just like,
okay. Sure.
If he did that in modern day, he would have been like
crucified.
10 billion penalties. Yeah, crucified for the rest of existence for like, how dare you drive through the smoke at 1,000,000 miles an hour. But anyway, before we get sidetracked again, because we always tend to, we will end off, I suppose.
I suppose so. It's been a fantastic race here at PSGL, once again in the F6 division. But I'm really looking forward to next week and seeing what else we can bring. and see if there's anything else which could surprise us.
How many rounds are left?
So that's the interesting thing, because we've got the calendar, but I feel like there's going to be a couple extra rounds added. So we've got 12 rounds here.
The movie?
No, we've got 12 rounds of racing.
Oh, okay.
And we've got, from the last update we got given by PSGL, we've got race 6 to race 10.
Okay.
Not 11 and 12. So it'll be very
So
interesting.
there's two more circuits to show.
Mystery circuits.
Mystery circuits. But the main thing that we should come out of this race is Napadovsky is beatable.
Yes, absolutely.
And he's clearly flappable as well. That was not his race. The coming back on the circuit with unsafe entry, the dropping down the order. Basically, he was last. At the end of the Grand Prix. So yeah, Napadovsky, we know he has the pace. He just needs to pick it back up in Belgium, and he'll be back on. If he can just win Belgium, everything that we said will be non-existent. But you
never know, do you? Spa's one of those circuits, and sim racing, anything can happen. But I suppose we're gonna have to wait until next week, 8 p.m. Same YouTube channel. You should see a little F6. Click on that one. Get the most handsome commentators and get the funniest ones as well. So, what can I say? It's worth a watch.
It is,
but without further ado, I do believe that'll be it from us. But thank you very much for everyone watching, and hopefully we'll be able to see you here next week for Spa-Francorchamps. Thank you.
Thank you.
Desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside. Oh, here he's through on the left-hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.